Okay, so we are live on Facebook right now, and as well YouTube. If you're tuning in on Facebook, we did a little test run yesterday, and what we found was that Facebook does not have the ability from a business page to invite guests in. So we're simultaneously broadcasting in on YouTube Live. Katie, will you drop that link into the Facebook? So if you are watching this on Facebook, my suggestion is to go into the chat. Katie is going to post the link, and that way you can see both myself and Abby, who is our guest today. Abby, the little introduction to you. Abby Vasic is a designer, a teacher, home stager. Tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. So I've had a background in interior design going on 15 years now in that department, but it was after my second show with HGTV that I was getting more speaking invitations, just whether it be to talk about reality television or design, or but the one that really made the biggest impact on my life was when a broker asked for me to come and talk to their agents about design strategies for presentation, how to best present their homes. And I started doing some research on real estate and design and discovered staging. And for the first time in my life, I felt like that was a niche within design that wasn't a luxury service, but an everyman's necessity if they want to do well in the real estate transaction. And I liked that part about it. I love that. I love working with other business professionals and helping them elevate their game. And so it's been a really great place for me to be.
And obviously we couldn't agree more. You know, if you're a client of Spyglass, or you're watching this and you're on our page and you followed us, we include staging and remodeling coordination as part of our service. We don't charge anything extra for it. And the way that we met Abby was our title company reached out and said, look, we've got this great presentation on different architectural styles. And so we've had 2 so far. And if you
we did architecture, and then we did building materials. I liked that one for us. I think that's building
materials, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then so with that, we had Abby in last Wednesday, and there's a blog on our site. Katie, will you drop that into the chat, both the YouTube and the Facebook, and you can just see kind of our bullet notes of where what her presentation was. So and also, if you want to get in touch with Abby, there's a link on my site, and we're going to put that link into both the chats right now, and you can get more in touch with that. So let's just jump right into this.
Cool.
First of all, I'm Ryan Rodenbeck. I'm the owner of SpyglassRealty, and we're going to be doing these shows every couple of weeks so that we can basically inform people about different real estate trends, things that are going on in Austin. So the first question I have—
You're so progressive in that way. Can I just tell you how much I admire the way that you run this brokerage? I mean, just being really a visionary and staying ahead of the trends in education and your approach to real estate. I just think it's incredible. For the exact same percent that you would pay another realtor, they're getting like exponential services with Spyglass. And I just
I really appreciate that. Yeah, service is what we're all about. What I wanted to get in today, the first question is, it seems like the last 10 years, there's been a trend of ultra modern design, right?
Right.
And it's almost kind of reminding me of like the 80s, Miami Vice modern. And I kind of feel like it's a little like, I'm starting to see clients say, it's just too modern,
Yeah.
And people are starting to kind of move away from that to some extent. Can you tell me what are the types of design, architectural designs you're seeing now?
Yeah, I'd love to. I think I completely agree with you on that, about the pullback from the extreme modern approach. And I think that's because we are new construction. The home buyers are wanting things that are a little bit less style specific. It's almost though I want a touch of modern, but I really want a contemporary blend that blends in both some more traditional aspects. There are some beautiful things about traditional architecture that we completely threw out altogether when we adopted some of these more modern concepts for building. And I think we're wanting a little bit, we want to keep some of those and some of the sustainable elements that were being used in modern design, a few of those elements, but I want to pair it with something a little bit more traditional too. So it's truly that blend that we call transitional, where it's classical architecture, classical design with a contemporary twist, and some of that contemporary twist are those modern elements.
So transitional is seeming like that's going to be one of the buzzwords. And like, you know, speaking of buzzwords, my next question is, you know, we're seeing like Dutch modern or Dutch farmhouse, and yesterday we had a conversation in our office about that. What is it? What is the proper terminology there?
Okay, between Dutch modern and Dutch farmhouse. Here's what.
Yeah.
You're actually, you might laugh. I would actually call it a Dutch modern farmhouse. I would put it all three together.
Okay, Dutch modern farmhouse. Got
and
it.
here's
Okay.
the thing,
Well,
because
our ladies for our conversation here. That's the
modern farmhouse, talk about a buzzword right now. And you know this because I travel all around when I talk to realtors. So I'm talking to realtors in Houston and Dallas, all over Texas. And builders, and they are getting such a request for this modern farmhouse look that, I mean, they're just calling it like barnitecture. They don't know what to call it either. But
yeah,
what you're honing in on is that Dutch element, which evokes farmhouse. Because of that gambrel roof line. It's got a gambrel, G-A-M-B-R-E-L, gambrel. That's the iconic Dutch roof line, which to us is a colonial farmhouse vibe. I mean, that's quintessential farmhouse feeling.
Yeah.
So it is a Dutch modern farmhouse.
Speaking of buzzwords, you know, we ran a Facebook ad for one of our agents' listings, you know, a couple weeks ago, and it was barn dominium was in there, and it went off. It was a property in Taylor with about 5 acres, and like, quite frankly, we just did not think it was going to be that attractive.
Right.
Like, it went crazy. I mean, we had a ton of people registering, liking, and inquiring about it. What is barn dominium? Does that even mean anything?
It does. It means something, and it's so still undefined that I know that people with lenders and things are having a little bit of a difficulty, because it is a new way of building where basically you're taking a metal barn and then adding exterior elements to enhance it. So sometimes you're adding some stone veneer and then keeping the metal. Sometimes they're resurfacing the whole thing and just keeping the exposed metal roof as part of the, but it's a very affordable. It's really sustainable because these metal frames are made to last and weather the Texas heat.
Yeah.
It's a new way that people are building. And so I think it's hilarious as we watch the rest of the real estate industry that keeps things moving, like title and lending, going, what is this? Wait, what is this? This is not traditional build. So it's a thing, though. It's a definite thing.
By the way, if you're watching on Facebook, if you look in the comments, Katie has put a link to our YouTube.
Oh, great!
It doesn't matter. If you're watching on Facebook, you can get to the YouTube live that we're doing, so you can see Abby in this post. Facebook would not allow us to invite a guest because it's a business page. So the next thing is, you know, like, and Barton Creek was a very popular neighborhood, and they've got a lot of homes that aren't selling there. And I think the problem is that they have this dated 2003 Tuscan look, which, you know, a lot of people in Austin don't even like. So as a, you know, designer, what would you do to fix that?
Oh God, I'll tell you from a lot of experience, because I get called in for that exact issue. People who have bought into that early 2000s Tuscan look and want to feel more contemporary. It's a real thing that we're dealing with. And I've got some wonderful suggestions for you guys. If you have a beautiful Tuscan home, but it's feeling outdated, the first place to start is always at the entryway, because we want to change the tone, that initial first impression. And I want to pair what you have that's existing that feels Mediterranean, old world, and beautiful. Don't throw it all out. That's wonderful. Even in new construction, I want those old elements. Those are the organic to that. They're the softening to my soft modern, all those organic old elements. But what we want to pair it with are going to be some very now elements. I want to start at the front door. I want to, on either side of that front door, remove those, your typical cypress, sort of Tuscan plants, and let's get in something that's a very 2017. Believe it or not, there are trendy plants, and one that it's in all the architectural high design magazines, and I see it market, is the fiddle leaf fig tree. And you put that in the shot, and suddenly it feels 2017. It's amazing. So I would get some transitional pots on either side of that front door. I would get a more updated contemporary plants out front. I might even look at what sort of numbers I've got, what sort of light fixtures I've got, because light fixtures are going to be the next very affordable, very style changing elements. They're always one of my best bang for my buck. When I really want to move a style a certain way, maybe I need to make it more hipster, or I need to make it more French country, I can do it with a light fixture. And so I want to move through in key areas, like above the island in the kitchen. If you've got an old world light fixture hanging down there, this is where we need to start bringing in those more contemporary or modern elements. In fact, I pulled up a couple of pictures. I might post to this later that exemplify what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, because for the inside seems a little bit easier, right? It's because you can just transform the inside from this kind of this Tuscan, almost like you're walking into I don't know, a Roman
castle, villa.
Yeah. The outside is the hard part. I know you're saying plants, maybe change the entryway a little bit, take that big door with the steel things in the middle.
Yeah, all the heavy iron work, and let's update that front door. That front door is that thing that it's your focal point. So when in each room, I want to identify my focal point, and if that focal point is super stylistically old world Tuscan, that's a wonderful opportunity. Let's just make those few change outs. If I were just to add, and I think we've got to be a little bit careful about that contrast, because I don't want to go just absolutely out of the gates contemporary modern front door. It's got to talk to my other finishes. But there's a wonderful blend right now, I think, that's out there. That's a transitional line of doors that have modern elements that still can work with what you got, old world. So it's kind of that blend.
Well, what about the colors on the outside of it? Because what we're seeing is, they have those tile roofs, right? And those are, you can't change that. I mean, some of those roofs are, $150,000, right? So, you have to you change the stucco. I mean, stucco is a big element of that Tuscan, right?
Yeah.
Do you change that?
It's a huge element. We can change that color. What's making it feel so Tuscan is the fact that it's that terracotta color. You know? A more modern stucco color. When we move it white, we use white stucco all the time in modern. So I think that it's one of those things where let's keep the form. Let's just change let's refinish it. Yeah, I love the material. I just want to see it lightened up. Yeah, just in the way that we're lightening everything up. So if I were on the outside to the inside of that home, a move for 2017 would make it lighter and brighter all throughout. Awesome. So using different paints, different light fixtures, different hardware too. Change out the hardware. When I come into a kitchen and if I saw some really sleek, that new brass, that brushed brass handles, I mean, and then those new light fixtures hanging over, the whole vibe is going to feel different. You're going to get that.
Okay, so we were talking yesterday I was talking with the girls in the office here, and Sunny had a good question. What are some of the trends that we're seeing now that you think lack sustainability, right? I mean, it's almost like some pants, you got in the 90s or something,
Avarici pants.
Right, exactly. I wasn't going to say that, but that's exactly what I meant, right? Yeah, I had a pair.
We're paying big bucks for that, 2 years later, you're like, oh yeah, that's 2 years ago.
So in design, what are you seeing now that you're like, oh man, this is going to be, you're going to regret this, right? Anything?
Well, yeah, I think there's the backsplashes in our kitchens and in a lot of our walk-in showers right now. People are, I'm just seeing an overusage of certain materials. And anytime something gets so saturated, that's when I go, oh, let's pull back. I'm just seeing a crazy amount of subway tile being a reemergence of subway tile. I think it was that whole Chip and Joanna farmhouse thing. And I think it's that and shiplap being used everywhere. I think we're going to look back on that in 5 years from now and just be like, oh, that was so Chip and Joanna 5 years ago. I mean, it was just so.
Yeah, so Subway is interesting. You say so. Subway, you think that might be kind of a fab, huh?
I think so. I think so. It's just being used so aggressively.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it in all the new construction, and it makes me weary of it because I like it. It's actually, they've brought it back. It was an old classic.
I think it gets to a point where you see something so much, and it goes, for so long, and everywhere you go, it's kind of like, all right, we're just tired of seeing that, right?
Yeah, like the glass blocks in the 1980s and the early 90s. Those glass blocks. Right now, even as cool of an idea as that was, it's your dates used so fast. And I think the same is going to be said for all the shiplap that's being used and a lot of the subway tile that's being used. So I just, and I also find that those super busy backsplashes that have just a ton of little pieces and parts and stuff, I just want a clean, beautiful, light and bright. I find that that's a little too busy. When I see it paired with a busy granite, and I think that you got to pick and choose there. And I like the idea of bringing in a lot of texture and action, which is a very transitional thing. People know they need to get all these different textures in there, but seeking out balance with that. Choose amongst that. Let's narrow it down and keep it simple. Simple is timeless with those things that are not easily changed out.
Gotcha. Okay. So next question I have is, when we sell a home, we include renovation, remodeling services at no extra charge. And my wife helps out with some of the design. And, usually when we sell a home, we're limited by a certain amount of budget, right? I mean, like we did a home in Shady Hollow, a couple months ago, and we're going from just basic stuff to, we have $6,000 budgeted towards this kitchen, right? So, what are like the 2 or 3 things that are the most cost-effective things in your mind when you remodel a kitchen that add value to that home?
Absolutely. Okay, because right there, if you said if I've got 6,000, I know a complete reno for my kitchen in a nice mid-range level would cost me about nearly 19,000 parts and labor there in Austin. And so that's a third of the budget. So there, I just kind of pull back and go, what do I really, really need? And the things that I feel like are talking to today's buyer that are the most bang for your buck. And I know it bothers a lot of people, but we're painting our cabinets because a lot of us have dark floors, hardwood floors, or made to look like hardwood floors running through those kitchen now, probably using the wood tile or using vinyl. It's too much wood. And for the look that's so popular, which is a light and bright, airy, 2017 is so bright and white. So we're painting a lot of our cabinets, and that has proven to be a really cost-effective. Don't replace those cabinets, just paint them, change out the hardware. The next thing is I'm just really looking at that countertop material. Is it comparable in my price range for the price point I want? Does everybody else at that price point also have granite, or have they moved on to quartz? Quartz and quartzites are hugely popular. They're kind of the rage right now. So anything with quartz in it is going to be one of those quartz composites, like the quartzite. But again, I'm telling you, buddy, it's all about the light fixtures in that we are super into illumination and lighting. And I can update a space depending on the lighting that I bring into the kitchen, particularly over the island. It's that focal point moment. So, and if you have it in your budget, just copy what they always do on every episode of who are my guys? The brothers. Property Brothers.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that almost every kitchen that they do, if they can get an eat-in island in there, they do it. They'll knock down that pony wall that's got the bar on it. just make it feel more open and use that additional little bit of square footage to instead bring in that eat-in island. That's in the top 6 keywords for 2017's buyers. They're looking for that eat-in kitchen island, and it's not an expensive thing to necessarily do because it's a square. It's a small slab of either quartz or granite, a smaller slab, and then you get to anchor it with amazing lighting, and suddenly you're looking all
okay. So we have just a couple more minutes here.
okay.
We've got you said the top 6 words, keywords. Let's hear what are the other 5?
All right, we got to know. So the others are I have to have an open floor plan. I need to see a lot of natural light moving throughout. I want to know that my home has got some energy saving capabilities, something that is a little bit more sustainable. We said the eat-in island. We said the what was the other one I said earlier? Open floor plan, energy efficient, the light, the I'm forgetting one. The Eden Island. It'll come to me here in a minute.
Yeah, we can post it.
I do this all the time.
Later, yeah.
Okay, great. May I?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. We'd appreciate it. I want to see that Tuscan redo, really, because that's just so hard to imagine from the outside. I can envision the inside, which is pretty easy in my opinion with enough money. The outside part throws me off, so I'd love to see that if you could post that.
Here's something I'd love to share on that just real quick on the outside. Those windows, if we can get those windows painted or replaced with black edging on them, that is a look that I'm seeing a lot of Mediterranean new construction. They're using that to give it a little bit more of a modern look.
Wow. Okay. Great.
So that might be something that you could do.
Very good. Okay. Well, I think that this pretty much wraps up for today. Before we do, Katie, will you post the cost versus value that Abby directed us to at our last meeting? And then Abby, where can people find you?
Oh, certainly. You can always find me, either go through my website, abbyvosek.com, or me.
That's in the comments, by the way.
That's in the comments. Thank you. And then, of course, I'm super active on Facebook. So Abby Vosek Design is my business Facebook page, and y'all can reach me that way, and I'll answer your questions as they come up. I love this stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. We're definitely going to have you on again. Thank you for being on here, and thank you for helping educate myself and my team, because we're in this world. We're doing this stuff every day, and to have such an expert like you, accessible rather. It's been a true treat, and we love working with you. So
I love it, Ryan.
Have a great day.
Thank you for having me.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.